I'm Jennifer, and you're listening to the Florida Gardener Podcast. We had a listener write in with some questions. He's located in southwest Florida between Fort Myers and Naples. Let's see if we can help. Disclaimer, I'm just sharing what I might do in this situation based on the information that was shared with me. This is not custom advice for your specific situation. We are just having a conversation, and this episode is for entertainment purposes only. Subject: How to find local advice. Hi, Jennifer. I love the podcast. Thank you for all the great education and tips you provide. I live in Lee County, Zone 10B, and I'm new to gardening in Florida, retiring here just 2 years ago. I'm struggling to find reliable sources of gardening advice. I've tried the local Lee and Collier County Ag Extension offices, no response, garden centers, mixed advice, books, online resources, iPhone Picture This app, even an online AI plant doctor. I'm getting lots of suggestions of things to try, but the advice is not consistent and I end up mostly confused. So I keep doing trial and error, hoping to learn by experience. I assume this is normal, but do you have any suggestions on the best sources for local gardening advice? Also, I'm going to be away for several months and wondering if there are people who can be hired to take care of my fruit trees and other plants, fertilizing, pruning, pest fungus control, etc. I have someone that mows my lawn, but I don't trust them to do more than that. Let's call this listener MV. MV, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate you listening and reaching out. You are not alone. What you are experiencing is common. In gardening, there are many variables, which is why you are receiving mixed advice. There's no fail-proof guide to follow. I do find that the best way to learn is by doing it yourself. Trial and error, as you mentioned, and observation. Be diligent when taking notes of what worked and what didn't, and then try again. You will end up killing plants. Don't be nervous to experiment. There is a lot to learn from things not going the way we intended. That is part of the process. One of my favorite quotes is, "The best gardeners have killed the most plants." I believe that's Kevin from Epic Gardening. With that being said, most plants are far hardier than we give them credit for. You'd be surprised how often they bounce back. Too often I see folks dismissing or throwing out plants they think are dead, but really they just need a bit of TLC. Or sometimes we don't need to do anything. We just need to be patient. Patience is key in gardening. Now, I can only speak from my own experience, but I do try to get information from multiple sources. Yes, there will be conflicting information. Continue to investigate. Think like a detective. You're looking for patterns and clues. You might start to notice that online literature favors a certain response. Now you're on the right track. We have a potential suspect. Terrible analogy, I know, but hopefully that makes sense. Plants are living organisms, which is why they are so intriguing, but also a bit complicated. They are ever changing. The learning and detective work will never be over for me. Every day is a new case I am trying to solve. With that being said, there are a few resources I would recommend to you. The links for all of them will be included in the show notes. The first one is South Florida Plant Guide. Now, don't let the name deceive you. It's not just for Palm Beach and Miami. If you live in the southern half of Florida, from approximately Tampa to Melbourne and southward, this guide is for you. The creator of it, her name is Chase, I believe. She couldn't have made it easier to learn about our plants. I strongly suggest checking this out. Stack's Urban Harvest is another great Florida resource. He has loads of helpful YouTube videos. You can find everything through his website, stacksurbanharvest.com. Flip My Florida Yard is a TV series dedicated to flipping yards into Florida-friendly landscapes. It's free to watch on YouTube. Just search the name. It's a great way to learn and gain a bit of inspiration while also being entertained. Your Central Florida Yard is a podcast hosted and created by UF IFAS. Yes, it's Central Florida focused, but there is a lot of overlap. Much of the advice still applies where you are located. Now, MV, in addition to those resources, you might also consider becoming a Florida Master Gardener. When it comes to local advice, I don't think it could get more local than this, as you would be learning with and helping folks in your specific county. A Master Gardener is a volunteer who becomes certified through a university such as UF-IFAS. They train you, and essentially you agree to volunteer hours to help your community, answering plant questions by phone or email, conducting research, giving lectures, and even helping to plant public gardens in your town. In return, you gain a greater understanding of Florida's plants and landscapes. It's a great opportunity to sharpen your skills. This is a wonderful program for folks who have some spare time. Perhaps you are retired or semi-retired, and you want to learn about our plants while also helping folks in your own backyard become better gardeners. So hopefully that answers your first question about local gardening advice. Now let's answer your second question. You mentioned that you're going to be away for several months and are wondering if there are people who can be hired to take care of your fruit trees and other plants, fertilizing, pruning, pest, fungus control, etc. You have someone that mows your lawn, but you don't trust them to do more than that. Regarding plant care while you are out of town, I'm going to assume these fruit trees are in ground and established. If this is the case, your plants should be fine. I would not worry about hiring someone. Now, if you decide to hire someone, you are correct in that your lawn guy may not be the best fit. You're looking for a niche or specialized service. Call around and explain what you are looking for. The right person will take the time to listen and offer to come out and meet with you. It will certainly cost more to find a person that is willing to take the time to be thoughtful and diligent with each individual plant, but they are out there. Think outside the box. You'll probably have better luck with search terms such as custom plant care, garden care, or even people that focus on interior plants. Yes, there are plant sitters for houseplants. While you might not find a perfect fit, I think a plant professional who tends to someone's interior collection might be more thoughtful with your outdoor plants than someone who mows, blows, and goes. There are a lot of professional edible gardeners popping up too. Someone who tends to kitchen gardens or specializes in food forests might be a good fit to care for your fruit trees. Now, when it comes specifically to pruning, if these are large, mature fruit trees, you're going to want to hire a certified professional arborist. These are easy enough to find, but you're going to want to make sure that they are certified to perform these services. Side note, Stack's Urban Harvest is really going to be a good resource for you. He tends to focus more on fruit trees and edible growing in the southern half of the state. Just speaking for myself personally, I tend to let nature be nature when I am gone. Part of it is selecting the right plants for the landscape. And if you're near the water, it's important to select shrubs and trees that have a high wind tolerance. That is very important. I try to select plants that naturally do well here, without irrigation and fertilization. I also let bugs be bugs. I have plants with holes in them, and I'm okay with it. It's good to have a balance of good bugs and bad bugs in the garden. Pests don't get out of hand if you naturally have beneficial insects around to eat them. And of course, any plant can get a disease, but I do not select plants that are notorious for having fungal or bacterial issues. I don't care how much I love it. If it requires a weekly fungicide application, I will not grow it. I have a few episodes from my own podcast that I think you should check out if you haven't already. Episode 21, Bugs You Should Love, and episode 23, The Irrigation Myth. Now, containers are a bit different. For any plants that you are leaving unattended in pots, try to position them so that they can receive natural rainfall. Of course, we have dry spells, but I try not to get too fussy when going out of town. I give them a good watering before I leave, apply a layer of mulch in the pot to help with moisture retention, and then I let Jesus take the wheel from there. So, funny story. There's a papaya tree growing out of a pot at a place I frequent. The seed just randomly ended up there. Wind, bird, who knows? Anyway, it's been growing in this pot successfully without any attention. No watering, pruning, fertilizing. and it successfully produced fruit last year. How did it do this? I can almost guarantee its roots are growing out of the drainage hole. Plants are resilient. Where there's a will, there's a way. So I hope this information helps, MV. Thanks again for writing in and for listening to the show. All right, everyone, that wraps up episode 30 of the Florida Gardener podcast. I'll be back soon for episode 31. In the meantime, if you'd like to write in with your own plant question or subscribe to my free monthly newsletter, you can access everything by visiting my website, rootsredefined.com. That's roots, R-O-O-T-S, redefined, R-E-D-E-F-I-N-E-D.com. All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you again soon.